Do you seriously think that Silksong is coming out in 2025? I legitimately want to know from you, dear listener. Do you actually think Silksong is coming out in 2025? Because I can go either way. But I just want to make a little time capsule here of how it feels in my gut to hear this news delivered in this way at this time of year in this exact location. There's so many factual analysis videos you could go watch right now. Like, thanks to the constellation theory, we now know that Leth has always been teasing a January 2026 reveal. I know a good amount of the stuff with the Silksong hype, like speculation stuff. Like, I've been following it. I don't know everything. But at the moment, what is far more important is just, man, the way you give information to your fans, the way you present stuff, the gut reaction of the uninformed person is so important, before things are set in stone. And I think living in the chaos hangover of the Switch 2 pricing debacle, a lot of people are realizing, like, even if the price does work out in some way that we can kind of rationalize or whatever, our first reaction to something like Mario Kart World being so mixed creates a certain feeling, and that feeling is important. And I definitely don't think Silksong has been ruined by this crazy ass release thing, but in this moment, it is so difficult to feel hype. I feel so many funny, nuanced things because of the repeated, just wandering moments through this labyrinth that we've gone through. So let's reflect a little bit and let me explain. Do I feel like Silksong is coming out this year? Yes or no? So I'll kind of work backwards here because I've been following since at least summer 2020 when I got into Hollow Knight. Like, I was aware of Silksong when it dropped. E3 2019 was a pretty big day for me. But yeah, at this exact moment, having seen what we've seen, not having done any research into this, my gut, when I am a fan and I see this trailer, I feel like a deadline was missed. I feel like something went wrong because I was watching the direct, and in a sizzle reel of all things, they show like maybe a tiny bit of new gameplay, but something that largely looked like the same trailer we'd already seen, communicating nothing besides 2025. And 2025 is actually a lot more promising than the freaking Microsoft promise. I mean, there are some people listening to this who might not remember the Microsoft promise, because that was coming up on 3 years ago. The Microsoft promise was when they put an actual Silksong trailer with actual content to share in a kind of Game Pass Direct, back when Game Pass was like exciting to people. And they didn't say anything about the release date, which was probably the marker between okay waiting and really not that okay anymore waiting, I would say. That was like, seriously, why did you say anything? Like, just go to sleep, hibernate for a couple years if you need to. That was rough. It was nice to see stuff, but it was just kind of like, you can have a release window? But then Xbox Johnson was like, everything in this trailer, everything is coming out within just 1 year. And that did not happen. So, we've already seen Team Cherry break promises like this to companies before, but what I, as a fan who doesn't have all the information, feel when I look at this chaos is I feel like there was a promise that wasn't made within Team Cherry. Because, to summarize the cake debacle was a thing that just happened a couple months ago, where after it was revealed, like the day after it was revealed, there would be a Switch 2 Direct on April 2nd, one of the main creators of Hollow Knight and Team Cherry made a kind of cryptic hint labyrinth in his Twitter profile leading to the date April 2nd, the day of the Direct. It's called the cake debacle because his profile picture was a random-ass chocolate cake. And because, this is important, they've literally done these kinds of ARG, like, find the riddle kind of things before, people hopped on that. Like, Silksong fans are crazy, but, like, there is a precedent. There was a reason to look at him doing this and think into it. And there was something there. If you backwards image search the cake, that recipe the image was sourced from, April 2nd last year. There was other stuff too. There were like two I'm forgetting, but one of them was his display name was a reference to a specific kind of wine you can only get at a brewery that's near where Team Cherry lives. And the specific wine, wanna guess when they released it? It was last year on April 2nd. So I know for a fact from what I've read, he hinted at the date April 2nd 4 times or so in his Twitter profile. The only misinformation I might be spreading is whether it was 3 or 4 times. I saw this stuff explained. I know it's real. And I also know that Leth, I believe is the name of the community manager, who has the delightful task of navigating between Team Cherry, who are doing their magic hoodigary stuff, and the fans want, which sounds terrible. And the cake thing blew up so hard because it seemed like an obvious hint that they were going to do a Silksong trailer in the Switch 2 presentation, which is so impossible. And Leth said, no, this doesn't mean anything. But there was a Silksong presentation. There was a Silksong trailer on April 2nd. What the? You can't do that. Like that, this has gotten really messy in my opinion, because you have trained your fans to look for this stuff. You signaled April 2nd, and then 2 different people who are supposed to be giving information said different things. I don't have all the facts. Maybe this has been clarified, but I'm just saying this is how I feel right now. This is the kind of chaos that Team Cherry made. To somebody who knows a little bit, but not everything, I'm like, what went wrong here? And I have a couple thoughts. In my gut, when I look at this, I feel like the April 2nd thing was a very contentious thing that maybe Nintendo came to Team Cherry and asked them to do, but they really weren't sure if they could actually make. And my reasoning for that is that it makes all the sense in the world for Nintendo to want Silksong to be in this direct, because they have so many third parties playing on their A game. And I have to imagine, in order to pull this together, they sent somebody to Team Cherry who was like, hey man, you got anything? Can you give, we need something. We gotta hawk systems, man. We gotta get systems out there. We gotta make these people pay I don't know, like $500 for Mario Kart. Like, we gotta get these things moving right now. And it's like, okay, well, I mean, sure, it's Nintendo. Like, that'd be a good time to do Silksong stuff. Like, fuck, can we do this? And I think their answer internally was like, I don't know. Because, like, it seems like, I do not understand. Maybe the cake thing was just because this developer was like, I'm so excited for Switch 2, I'm gonna make an ARG. But that, boo-boo, no, that's stupid. If you've been training your fans to hunt for that kind of stuff, you can't just do it and be like, nah, this one is a joke. And then the fact that somebody had to say, like, no, don't get your hopes up, makes me feel like they were trying to make the deadline. They wanted to be there when it was time, but they weren't confident. You know what I mean? That just makes so much sense to me. And what they put out was such a half trailer and a half promise that, in a twisted way, it kind of communicates, like, don't get your fucking hopes up. But at the same time, it is saying, like, we're closer than ever before. So I really do. When I look at this non-trailer and this vague 2025 release window, like, it's already April. Like, you know, you're Silksong. You should have said nothing. Like, yeah. People would have been like, oh no Silksong. They say that about every direct, and you already did the footwork. You already had somebody say, no, don't get your hopes up. You would have been totally in the clear to withhold this trailer for a couple months until you can give us an actual release date. But that didn't happen. This was a mess. Maybe I'm wrong. When I look at this, I see, like, things are kind of falling apart. But maybe it looks exaggerated because I really do believe that Nintendo could have put some pressure on them to give them something. Some people thought they could make it with an actual proper trailer, and it didn't actually happen. And that's not the end of the world. I don't mean to be a dick to Team Cherry. I do think this hype thing has been a mess, and people need to learn from it. And I said that about Earthblade. I think people need to be learning from each other in the indie scene, because there are some crazy avant-garde, like, long-term hype cycles like Deltarune that are being managed pretty freaking well. And then there's Silksong. nuts. This is completely crazy. Things are going so badly now, and it's been going badly for years, and this is going to be one of the main things the game is known for. But at the end of the day, do I actually not think that the game is close to done? How do I feel? It is so weird. Thing about Silksong to me is that it's extremely indulgent. The project literally started as ballooning scope. It started as DLC that got out of hand or whatever, expanded content that got out of hand, which is exactly what happened to Tears of the Kingdom. And Tears of the Kingdom, Zelda, was like a really good lesson in like, yeah, you can make people wait all this time and put all the content in the world into a game, but like, like there's kind of this issue of like a super game. It's like, oh, aren't you excited? Like, aren't you willing to put up with all this waiting and maybe even pay extra? I mean, we spent 9 years on this game, and it's happened a couple times, like Sea of Thieves, right? Tears of the Kingdom pushed the envelope with price and wasn't really that great of a game. In a lot of ways. Mario Kart World is now like probably the most infamous example, because it's like, come on guys, we put Petey Pokey in here, we got Slippy Penguin to play as, like, you're not gonna pay for Dr. Goomba? Like, I don't know, in some ways it's this brilliant game that clearly has years and years of love put into it, but people don't really have place in their minds for like an Uber game that can take all the time in the world and, you know, cost whatever it wants. Silksong is lucky in that it's not going to cost anything extra to play, or if it is, it'll be a whole other thing. But they really have just been letting this balloon and balloon and balloon. And every time a trailer comes out, I don't know what to think, because I don't think they know what they're thinking. Because back in the day, like 2021, like the winter between 2020 and 2021, there was a beautiful feature in Edge magazine. It was like a British magazine that had like Silksong on the cover. It had this whole interview. I tried to buy it, but it like got lost in the mail or something. It was really cool. And back then, I was like, oh yeah, like this is a game. Like, this is a game. This is cool. Like, it's okay that we haven't heard anything in a year or two or whatever. It's cool. Like, this is gonna take a couple years. And then, you know, by the time that the Microsoft trailer came, that would have been a great time for the thing I was preparing myself for to get a release date. You know what I mean? Like, back when the me who was going through this in a normal long hype cycle was kind of ready there. And then it didn't happen. So now it's like, well, I don't know. Like, did they add a whole new layer? Like, I'm not even going to say that it's bad, because Animal Well just came out. And Animal Well is an Uber game. Like, Animal Well, nobody knew it because there wasn't any, like, expectation until it was close to release. It wasn't a sequel. But Animal Well took a long time to make. Animal Well was a passion project for a long time. And there's been, like, a talk of, like, oh, Billy Bassel's going to make another game. But if he keeps his mouth shut, I will wait 7 years. Like, I will wait until whenever for the next game, whatever it is. Like, his next game, not necessarily an Animal Well sequel from what I've read. I'll wait forever. If he doesn't say anything, but it's when you say stuff that it seems clear that you either don't know how to keep your fans from freaking out, or, like, you think you're closer than you are. So at this point, I have lost my ability as a half-informed fan to trust that Team Cherry knows how far they are from the release. Like, I don't think that they know. And of course, this is the closest they've ever come. But even if you are back to where I thought we were in 2022, and we're within a year of release, that's still a very complicated thing. Like, look at a company that is just really dropping all the pancakes they're trying to carry. Level 5 is floundering right now. I am so happy that they're back. We thought they were going to be gone. We thought they'd never be shipping games outside Japan ever again. Fantasy Life has been delayed for numerous years and gotten put to more consoles so it can look worse. Terrible. It's been a disaster. Their whole reveal, like, revival thing back in the day also had, like, Deca Police. That's not out. Layton is being teased. I have no confidence. Layton is another 2025 game that was still just 2025 in the sizzle reel. And I can tell, like, in my gut as a consumer, like, I don't have any trust in that coming out this year. It might happen, but it just feels like when I look at level 5, I don't have confidence. When I look at Team Cherry, I don't really have confidence, but even though I have been ragging on them, 2025, like, you finally put a number to it. This is how I feel. This isn't truth. I'm literally just telling you in a bottle how I've been made to feel. I feel mildly confident that it will come out by, like, next spring. When I say within a year, I kind of mean within a year. 2025, oh no, we delayed it to March. That's cool. Like, that feels possible right now. Again, I'm not making a prediction video. I would have researched if I was making a prediction video. I'm capturing how I've been made to feel by this process, because I think that's a little bit more interesting, honestly, to look back on someday. When I saw the Switch 2 sizzle reel that had almost nothing to show, I was made to feel like, okay, we're closing in on it, but I really don't think they're as close as they want to be. And I reckon that it's possible the 2025 window was also just like a Nintendo promise, because I think most of the games there were 2025 windows, or maybe they were telling people to aim for that if they wanted to be in the presentation. So I don't know. I see a situation where, like, maybe they weren't quite able to meet what Nintendo wanted, and that might have strong-armed them into saying 2025 and not meaning it. But it's also been a really long time, and to some degree, they have to be learning. They have to be learning that things are going to be intense from now on because they've set a number, so they have to be kind of learning, right? Like, I've been really negative on them, but I'm sure they're learning. I'm sure they're getting better at this. Probably within the next, like, 12 months. Funny thing is, like, before any of this, I just kind of, like, felt Silksong coming this year. It's a very personal feeling, but I don't know. I gave up on hoping for it for a couple years because I knew for a few years that 2025 would be a very red-colored year. 2023 was green. Every year has a color for me. 2024 was a shade of blue. 2025 is red, and I was like, yeah, Crowsworn could come out. Silksong could come out. It's very 2025 core, but that's exclusively, like, my gut feeling. I'm kind of starting to give up on that with the trailer thing, but I don't know. I'd like it to come out this year. That'd be wonderful. It's not going to come out soon. It's going to be like December 31st, but I don't know. That would be fun. So, yeah. I don't know. Maybe you feel the same as me. It's very possible you feel the same as me. I hope ranting and raving was somewhat cathartic, because, yeah, there's the put together video, doing all the math and, you know, conspiracy boarding everything. But I think sometimes you need a video that's just like, man, what the heck did we go through waiting for this game? This is just like nothing else.